In the spring of 2010, video of a smoking baby went viral and became an international sensation.
2 packs a day this kid goes through.
Our person of the year is the Indonesian smoking baby.
Have you seen that smoking baby thing?
There's a baby that smokes?
Yeah.
That's not real.
Got a kid smoking.
When the laughter stopped, the world moved on. But there's much more to this story than just one child's cigarette addiction.
Indonesia is a heaven for this tobacco industry and health for us.
There's the school sign. Here's a cigarette stand. No one has any problem with this.
If you thought the public health battle against tobacco was over, think again.
Smoking this century will kill 1 billion people.
This is the story of how smoking's decline in the West has fueled Big Tobacco's hunt for new consumers in some of the poorest countries on Earth.
They're doing everything in their power to take the same product, the same deceptive marketing practices, and transport them around the world.
Why do you smoke Marlboros? I'm cowboy.
Probably the 2 most devastating lies in the history of business in the world are smoking doesn't cause disease and we don't market to children.
We go undercover to hear how Big Tobacco talks behind closed doors.
There's a lot of smokers here.
Yeah, this is perfect place.
And we take to the streets to meet the small band of activists fighting for change in a country where the overwhelming message is loud and clear. Cigarettes are cool, cigarettes are fun, and cigarettes are sexy. We set out on a journey to find the world's most famous smoker.
That's a cute kid.
And along the way, we found a global health crisis in the making. In Times Square, in the heart of New York City, you find advertising for just about everything. But there's one product that's conspicuously absent from the bright lights and flashy billboards. Cigarette advertising has been all but snuffed out in the United States.
Yeah, can I get back a Marlboro Reds?
Now, in the interest of full disclosure, it should be known that I haven't actually bought a pack of cigarettes since I was 15.
Now, how much does that cost these days?
$12, sir.
$12?
Yes.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
You heard right. A single pack of smokes will set you back a whopping $12. New York City is now the most expensive place in the country to buy cigarettes.
So what did these used to cost?
It's $6 when I opened the store.
It was $6 when you first opened the store. Now they're twice the price.
$12, so yeah.
That's due largely to a hefty sin tax, levied in recent years by both the city and the state in an attempt to strongly discourage consumers from smoking.
Has it hurt business at all?
Oh yeah, lots. Before we used to sell like 3 cartons a day, now hardly 1 carton we sell.
Just because it's so expensive?
Yeah, that's why I put a TV on now.
So you've got something to do?
Yeah, that's it, keep me busy.
The Big Apple has not been kind to Big Tobacco, and that's a point of pride for Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
What the most interesting thing to me is you no longer see a lot of people outside of bars and restaurants smoking. It is few, and when you walk by, they take the cigarette and put it behind them. They're embarrassed about it.
A far cry from the way things used to be.
From Manhattan towers to towering pines, the Marlboro legend grew.
It wasn't so long ago that America was Marlboro country.
Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro country.
TV commercials like these are evidence of Big Tobacco's glory days. Cigarettes were cheap, costing about the same as a candy bar. You could smoke pretty much anywhere and everywhere. And everybody, it seemed, was encouraging you to just do it. Celebrities were endorsing cigarettes. Doctors were endorsing cigarettes. Even Fred Flintstone was endorsing cigarettes. In the early 60s, nearly half of all adults in America smoked. Business was booming. But the cigarette industry had what many believe was the gall to hide one very ugly truth.
It is the only consumer product which, when used as intended, will kill half of its long-term customers.
Cigarettes are eating you and your kids alive.
I have no fingertips. I chose to smoke.
This is more indicative of how smoking is portrayed in America today. These graphic images are part of an in-your-face anti-smoking campaign launched in 2006 by New York City's Department of Health.
You're one cigarette closer to cancer.
The evidence would suggest the campaign is working.
Today, 50% fewer kids smoke than smoked 8 years ago. Just think about that. It's an amazing statistic.
In 2007, the smoking rate nationwide reached a 40-year low. But a global health crisis persists. In fact, the threat is greater than ever.
Smoking this century will kill 1 billion people if we don't do something about it. It is the single biggest killer and the most preventable killer.
1 billion deaths. And nearly 80% of those deaths will take place in the developing world. That's where big tobacco is headed. In an effort to make up for lost revenue in the US and Europe, the industry is on the hunt for new consumers in some of the poorest countries on Earth. For a Westerner like me, stepping off the plane in Indonesia is in some ways like stepping back in time.
Every ad, just walking through on every pillar, is an ad for cigarettes.
The onslaught of cigarette advertisements really starts when you hit the streets. The kind of marketing that has largely disappeared from the West now blankets Indonesia. In my hotel room, I turned on the TV, and for the first time in my life, I saw a cigarette commercial. And then I saw dozens more. Ad after ad, tying cigarettes to images of independence, adventure, and most of all, youth. The ubiquity of cigarette ads is not limited to the capital city of Jakarta either.
Just going down the road here, there's no escaping it. It's everywhere.
Even on the dirt roads of the country's many rural villages, it's the one aspect of the Indonesian landscape that remains constant.
Hampir 99% penduduk kita sini perokok.
Rudy Baihaki works for Child Protective Services in Sumatra, the same island that this little guy calls home.
The infamous smoking baby.
40 cigarettes a day.
You know what would get the kid to cut back on cigarettes? It's a lesser-known treatment called don't give him any.
While many saw humor in 2-year-old Aldi Rizal puffing away like an old pro, Rudy was horrified, and he headed straight for the village where this video was made.
What was your initial reaction when you first saw Aldi smoking?
Kesal, marah, campur aduk lah semua.
So we're sitting here, there are kids around us everywhere. How easy is it for them to get cigarettes?
Sangat mudah.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Sangat mudah. Dek, belikan rokok sana, Dek. Mil ya, Sampurna mil.
For big tobacco, Indonesia offers fertile and perhaps irresistible new territory. With little or no government regulation of the tobacco industry here, Indonesia is the new Marlboro country.
Thank you very much. How old are you?
Berapa umur saya?
Berapa umur? 7 tahun.
7 years old?
7 tahun.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Indonesia is the 4th most populous country in the world, home to 240 million people, many of whom love soccer and cigarettes. 70% of men here smoke, and you don't have to look very hard to see why that might be. In a country where soccer is king, the nation's professional league is officially sponsored by Jarn, one of the nation's largest cigarette makers. And that's just the beginning.
So if you can see, this is one of the busy streets in Jakarta, and this is a huge banner of promotion.
So this LCD screen plays nothing but cigarette ads?
No.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, and you see that as a skateboard, how cool you are when you have this.
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding. There is no snow at all in Indonesia.
There's not even snow here.
And this is for the concert, so they fund the concert.
Flow rider, interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a flow rider event that they're sponsoring.
Yeah. If it is not for young people, so who it is for?
Ida Rama grew up in a poor village outside of Jakarta. The first time she ever saw a warning about the dangers of smoking was as a 20-something grad student in Australia. As just one in a small band of tobacco control activists, she faces an almost insurmountable task here in Indonesia. Free from many of the regulations and restrictions that have stifled its efforts in the West, the tobacco industry's aggressive marketing in places like this is clearly paying off. 1 in 4 boys here, between the ages of 13 and 15, now smokes.
How long have you guys been smoking? 3 years ago? All right, so when you were 13. So you all started when you were 13 years old. What kind of cigarettes do you smoke? Samporna Milds. Samporna Milds and Marlboro. What kind of person smokes Samporna Milds? Why do you smoke Marlboros?
I'm cowboy.
All right, we got a regular Marlboro man over here.
Anyone can buy, even a child, there is no rule. A child can buy 1 cigarette from anywhere very easily.
In fact, most street vendors here sell exactly that, single cigarettes, for as little as 5 cents each.
Who buys these? Who comes in and buys just 1 cigarette?
Ya aja mas, nggak apa-apa. Anak muda.
School children. School children.
So do you want to see the school?
Sure, yes.
This is the school and this is the school sign.
So he's literally right in front of the school.
That's right. And this is the advertising.
There's the school sign. Here's a cigarette stand. No one has any problem with this. No?
In the U.S., like most countries around the world, it's illegal to sell tobacco products to children under 18. In Indonesia, no such law exists.
When our elementary school student can smoke, there is no control. When a 5-year-old boy can smoking, there is no control. When babies can smoking, it means there is no control. We have to do something.
It's Wednesday night, and I'm on my way to that Flow Rider concert. Thousands of teens have flocked to a sold-out stadium. Cigarette advertising is everywhere.
You want to buy my cigarette? Hey, 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 hey! You gonna make some noise!
On stage, American rapper Flow Rider is tearing it up. Flow Rider is now just one in a long list of international artists who have made thousands of dollars performing for Big Tobacco. The Black Eyed Peas, Smashing Pumpkins, Muse, Slash, they've all played shows in Indonesia paid for by cigarette dollars.
Tidak boleh menampilkan anatomi barang rokok. Sekarang iklan rokok apa? Yang dijual emosi.
This man could be called the Don Draper of Indonesia. These days, Mosley, who goes by just one name, teaches advertising at a local university. But for years, he worked for American tobacco giant Philip Morris, running its Marlboro ad campaign here in Indonesia.
Big cigarette company, they always think that government sooner or later will come up with new regulation, okay? So they always anticipate from the beginning by doing investment to the young one.
Be aware of the brand.
Yeah.
And be addicted to nicotine.
Yeah.
20 years ago, in the U.S., in response to increasing public pressure, Big Tobacco promised to stop targeting minors, even saying goodbye to 2 of its most beloved mascots. Gone was Joe Camel, a cartoon-like character accused of subversively targeting young consumers. And, perhaps most striking, after more than 40 years of service, Philip Morris retired its iconic Marlboro Man. Mosley is frank, though, about who the industry continues to target